guys. So I want to tell you a quick little story while I make the boys dinner because they're going to a movie. But back, I went to an appointment this morning, and as I was sitting in the waiting room, this woman, I don't even want to say older woman because nowadays I think I want to say older woman because she was in a walker, but that doesn't say anything nowadays, you know. So anyway, this woman and her husband come in and they're checking in, and the woman sits down. The husband goes and checks his wife in, right? And I see him like say her name. God is so funny. I hear him say her name, like so and so is here for, and he was about to say the doctor, and she yells out and says the doctor's name. He kind of looks back, and then after he checks her in, he has his like wallet out of his pants already, like his back pocket, and the lady goes, "Okay, sir, you know, you're good to go, you know, no worries." So the reason I'm saying that is because here was a thought after these next few thoughts. So he goes, sits down, and when he sits down, I wanted to cry. Don't I always want to cry? But when he sits down, so she's sitting here and the husband is sitting here, and she leans over to him, and I'm like sitting right here, so I'm not eavesdropping, but I can hear. And she leans over to him, kind of like grabbing onto his neck. And she goes, she says something to him, and then she says, you know, out loud, like a little louder, I mean, I just want you to know that I don't mean the things that I say or the way that I say it. It's you know how I am. It's just how I am. You know how I am. And he's sitting there, and he is like looking, but you could tell his body language is like, I don't even know what to say. And she goes, "You know how I am, but I want you to know that I love you." And he goes, "Okay, I know." And instantly, I just got so emotional, and so much went through my head. What am I never not thinking? The first thing that I thought of was, I saw me and Ronnie, like, I saw who Ronnie and I could have been even as we got older in marriage for so many reasons. Because I feel like when I wasn't sitting in my and sat in it and dealt with it and attempted to heal from it, and Ronnie wasn't doing that, that would have been an answer that I would have probably given. Like, you know how I am. But why do we sell ourselves short that way, you know? It should not be, oh, you know how I am. And then I thought how courageous it was of this woman, not knowing the circumstance, not knowing what was going on, because I don't know these people, but how courageous that even in the midst of her knowing, and that was the thing, when you know but you don't acknowledge, and it's two different things. Or I should say, you know, you acknowledge, but there's no change behavior. Because the reason I say that there's no change behavior is because from her comment to him, which is, you know how I am, that's already like, okay, I know what I do, but deal with it. For her courage, I feel like, to know and really want to know, but also want him to know, like, I need you to know I love you, right? And for him to sit there and, first of all, check her in, be ready with the wallet, even though he didn't have to pay for anything, because I mean, I watched the whole thing, I didn't see. It was just that it was like an unexplained love, I think, place of really living in 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7, and knowing it and living it. And it reminded me how broken we are as people, and can't imagine something that has gone on in that woman's life. The spirit of rejection on that man, and that's just what I felt. Just as a man, he was very timid, but it was so interesting. They were watching the television in the waiting room, and he was very, not aggressive, but very like assertive towards an opinion of a commercial, which let me know that he did have it in him, that he did have that, like, I know what I want to think, I have my own opinion, but in some way very unhealthily submissive to her, lapse in judgment and just let whatever be whatever. It touched my heart in that moment. If you are watching this, maybe this is for you, that the way that we know it to be does not have to be the way that it is, because it doesn't matter how you grow up. It doesn't matter money, no money, the color of your skin, where you are demographically. We are all broken in some way. I know this because we are. In my opinion, everybody needs therapy. Shout out to therapy. The world lets you think that it's not. There is beauty in wanting to know the steps to heal, even if you don't know that's what you're doing. And I myself, not that they don't even freaking know who I am, but I in that moment was so proud of her, and then prayed that she would dig deeper. And I in that moment felt so much compassion for him, and pray that he could find his worthiness. And you know what? I could have made this entire thing up in this zelly brain of mine. It was a beautiful reminder, and it was a beautiful reminder just personally for Ronnie and I, that what if our objective for the rest of our lives would have been to be right? What if our objectives for the rest of our lives would have been not to say the things that needed to be said because we thought that the other one couldn't handle it, instead of tending to the brokenness of each one of us taking responsibilities to surrender that and know that healing can be yours, and that communication is key. Because you don't always have to agree, but the fact that you are able to listen and adhere, and you know what, I can understand why he would feel that way, or I could understand why she would feel that way. So thank you for coming to my Zelly Talk. Praying for that couple, and it was just so touching to me, and it made me so grateful for healing. It made me grateful that God restored my marriage, and it made me grateful that if I learned anything in my personal healing, aside from being in a union with my husband, is that be offended by none, because you will miss the mark. You will miss the mark of all the blessings that God has for you. Because when you stay in the offense, you're so consumed in what you probably already know needs healing, that you never get to the healing. Yeah, that part.